This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rooted Latinas.
Raíces Latinas,
a podcast where we share our journey of adapting from a Latino household to the life in the U.S., discussing challenges, transforming obstacles, and celebrating personal growth.
yes.
We are your hosts, Mariana Hernandez,
Maria Rocha,
Jamie Tovar,
y Rocío Hermosillo. This episode is sponsored by Infinity Resources, so huge shout out to them. Si hay trabajos.
Infinite Resources.
Yes,
Infinite.
huge shout out.
Yes.
Well, ladies, welcome back. It's another week.
I know, excited to talk to you guys.
I know, I miss it, and then my belly hurts so much when we all get together.
Girl, why?
From laughing.
Oh, yes.
You'll make me sick. No, I'm kidding. She goes,
Go
why?
for real.
Why you belly hurting?
Our pregame is laughing for like 5 minutes.
For real, yeah. Trying to figure out what's in everyone's cup, like what's actually in everybody's cup.
What's in your cup today, Jamie?
Water.
Mm-hmm. Water?
Yeah.
Mine is water too.
I don't believe her.
I have the matcha drink from Starbucks.
I have the dragon drink from Starbucks.
Yes. The matcha is really good.
I haven't tried any like of those fancy drinks. Nope, I'm good.
I only get them on Fridays now.
Okay.
Okay, miss.
I know, girl.
Why is that?
Wishy Fridays or what?
Yeah, bougie Fridays.
Because, you know,
I
direct
spoiled myself.
deposit goes through at midnight.
Yeah.
She's like, Friday.
For a payday.
Girl, we don't get paid on Fridays. What do
I
you mean?
know.
It just depends.
It just depends. So it's just a mini
messing.
celebration, like you said.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm excited about the topic today, though.
Yes.
I think it's huge. I think it's one of the biggest reasons why I think we've all been able to grow. And it's about mindset.
My favorite topic.
Yes. So what does mindset mean to y'all? And did you guys even know what mindset was?
I feel like no, I really never paid attention to like how much your thoughts have a big play in how you are. And to me, I feel like I learned so much about it that I'm a whole different person,
100%.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said is our mind creates the world in which we see and live in.
Mm-hmm.
So something you were saying is like, I'm a whole other person for sure.
Mhm.
It was just, I'm curious to learn from each of y'all, like what in your mind, like what triggered that mindset switch? Because I feel there was a moment in our lives where we all kind of made that pivot or that change. So there was a mindset switch. And I'm really curious to dive in and hear about what was it for you, or one moment that you're like, oh, this changed my life.
You want to go first? Jamie?
Yeah, let's start with Jamie.
I think I kind of touched on it in one of the episodes we did when we were all talking about like our lives and all that and what rooted us.
Mm-hmm.
But mine was, remember when my mom got deported? I feel like that was huge for me. And that was a young age, right?
How old
I
were
was
you?
like,
Remind us.
I was 14, almost, I turned 15 that year. So like that was huge. I feel like I really matured like in that year. And I think in professionally though, probably like actually going to college and see like being out on your own, that's the real world, you know, and you're like, dang. And, you know, and then I got right into working, and that's where like my mindset and like manifesting things I wanted, you know, and all that started. So
How was
Yeah.
your mindset before? So you said that, you know, like going to college, what was your mindset prior to going to college? What did you expect? What did you think life was?
yeah, well, growing up in Perry, it's like a small town, you know, so you're just used to that small classrooms and stuff like that. So going to college, you're like, I'm on my own. I can like do whatever I want. Like literally in being Latinas, like our families and our moms, we don't get a lot of freedom, I would say, you know?
True.
And if I was out, it was with like my brothers were there, you know, or something. So I was literally alone. So that was so nice. And like, I literally like made all my own decisions. I went out whenever I wanted to go out. I came home whenever I wanted to come home, got up whenever I wanted to get up. Just like those little things that we don't do in a Latino household.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
You
And
know?
did you go all out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All out.
Just like, I'm not going into details.
there's
girl.
stories.
I know.
I know. Stories for another time. Those probably didn't help, but yeah, no. So it was just like things like that you're like, dang, and that really matures you. Like going off to college, being off away from your family. I wasn't too far, but it was still like over an hour, and you come home on the weekends at soccer. So that too, that shaped me a lot, like playing soccer at a college level, because it was so like we would get up at 4:30 a.m. to go on runs,
2-a-days.
Yeah, 2-a-days, 3-a-days sometimes.
Yeah.
So we practice like super early runs, noon, and then like at 5 again. So that's just like intense. Yeah, it's almost like I think about like military.
That's
Like
exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use.
I feel like that shaped me too. Just like
The structure,
having-
the
having my coach like yelling and
accountability.
yeah.
One thing that you mentioned that it kind of gave me flashbacks to is like how you said, growing up in a Latino household, like sometimes like for me, my mindset was like you had to go to school, you had to graduate, and then you had to go to college, and then from college you got a job, and from your job you grew a family. Like that was all I felt like I grew up with. That was like what I was gonna have to do. And then for me, I feel like it was just the thing that I didn't want to go to college, and there was something there that kept like pushing me to like look at other things or like explore other options or kind of like dig deeper for what my purpose is. And I think when I was able to kind of figure a little bit about that and got surrounded by the right individuals, I think that's when my mindset started changing so much more of like, damn, there's so much more opportunity outside of just this thing that my parents thought was, living.
Or supposed to be your path.
Right. And I didn't realize how much like that little thing inside of me that was like, hey, you're not meant for this, you're meant for more, or there's something else out there. I think that opened up a whole nother like part of my brain. I don't know. That was like, shoot, there is much more other than just that.
Yeah.
And imagine, I guess a question for you, Jamie, too, with that. Now that you're about to have your own kiddos, right? Would you have exposed them to a different lifestyle knowing what you know now? Or are you going to?
I think so. Just because like I feel like we are this like our generation is different. We're evolving, we're getting with it, and our parents just like, especially like, my mom, she's like so old school, like, and she's now starting to change too because she's got grandkids and stuff. But I feel like, and this is not probably in everybody's household, but, I feel like there's not enough hugs. There's not enough I love yous. There's not enough like being able to sit down and just talking about how we feel or our problems and stuff like that. And that is missing, in our households. And that's something like we do at our house and make sure that like the girls, Beverly and Brittany, which they're 13 and 17. Is that right? Jesus. Yeah. 13 and 17, we just let them know, like, we talk about how we feel. We talk about our problems. It's okay, if you're upset, it's fine. Let's just talk about it. Why are you upset? There's, like, especially working on the little one of, like, expressing herself because they're not used to that, and just stuff like that. So, yeah, I feel like my household will definitely be different with, like, my own child and how they're raised,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that for you and your
Thank you.
family.
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
What about you, Mariana?
Was that a nervous laugh?
That was a little bit of a nervous laugh.
Why? Why was that a nervous laugh?
I feel it's amazing to hear like everyone's story. For me, I think it was in high school where things changed for me drastically because, well, I had listened to my brother. Shout out to my brother. He had introduced me to The Secret. And when I watched that, it was a whole different like perspective of the reality of what life can be for someone, no matter the circumstancing or their past that they grew up in. Because I feel like, at least for me, it was always like how you grew up. Ve la escuela, educación was important, go to college, have a family, get married, so on and so forth. So for me, that always stuck in my head, but there was a moment where I went rock bottom, like within myself. So I had to do a lot of shadow work. And so for me, that meant closing myself out from a lot of people. Like I myself was toxic, you know. So really hitting that rock bottom for me to realize that this is not who I'm meant to be. This is not who I am. And whatever was in my past or whatever story that I lived, that's not me. Like I can have a different lifestyle.
Yes.
So for me, it was a lot of shadow work. Going back, you know, I rewatched and reread The Secret as well to kind of just remind me that there's more out there, no matter my circumstance, no matter that I'm an immigrant, right? So for me, it was a lot of that, just shadow work and shutting everybody off. Like I really went through it.
I haven't read The Secret. I don't know what's that about.
Girl, you have to give her the DVD. Just like
There's
me.
YouTube now, so I'll send you the YouTube.
No, girl, it's more effective if you watch the DVD.
Stop. But you're gonna have to get a DVD. So The Secret, it's just really, it's really honestly about your mindset. Like the words that you say to yourself, what you think. Think
What
of
you
it like
attract.
manifest. Yeah. So what you think
Yeah.
is what you attract, and so on.
Real
So,
quick, I just want to acknowledge you, Mariana. Like, that's huge. And a lot of people don't talk about that. And for any of the listeners, can you share what shadow work is?
Yes. So shadow work is you working on yourself behind the scenes, really detoxifying yourself from people that you need to, you know, let go, old habits, and really being truthful to yourself. And for me, that was a lot of trauma work as well.
Yes.
So it's really just working on yourself behind the scenes and really being honest with yourself and a lot of reflecting. I do a lot of reflections on myself and, you know, throughout the day or whatever, because that's how I feel myself, that's how I'm learning and growing myself, because then I'm like, okay, this didn't work out, so I'm going to do something different, you know, because that's the beauty of it. Like, you can evolve as a person every day, you know. You don't have to be stuck, you know.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think it's so powerful. Excuse me. I think it's so powerful that you've even said it too, right? Like you even go back and reread it, because I was going to ask the next question. How do you make sure you stay grounded in that mindset? Because one thing that we went to a training out in San Diego, Jamie. They were talking about how you go to a seminar or a super exciting training and then you plant yourself, right? And you're watering, you're growing. And then as soon as you go back home, perhaps, or you go back to your routine, and then you unplant yourself. So I was going to ask you, ladies, how do you make sure you stay planted in that mindset of the life that you want to stay in?
I think for me, your environment says a lot. Like the people you are around, the books that you read. I think all of that, it's a work in progress, right? It's a nonstop learning curve for everyone too. And you can easily go back to your old ways, and it's like learning to really get yourself out of it and be that much more powerful than your mind, because I feel like our mind is so strong. Like you got to be stronger than your mind. Your mind can't run you. And so I think for me, like just constantly being around people that are like, hey, if I say something that I don't want to attract, you guys catch me on that and tell me, hey, no, it's not try, it's you will, because those are even powerful within itself. And so for me, it's just like the people, and then constantly wanting to grow and learn and practicing what you're reading is huge for me.
Life learner.
That's what I was gonna say. Just like realize, like just wanting to mature. Like every day we can grow and keep maturing every day, and just wanting to be that good person, but realizing like, I've had moments where like I've handled a situation at home and with the girls or something, and then I sit to myself and I was like, okay, I could have handled that different. I could have worded it different. I need to do this or this or that, and like I can apologize too. That's big. Like as adults, like just even if it's apologizing to a kid, it's totally okay and good, because it's showing them like, hey, like they're taking accountability too,
Right.
And so it's just like all that transparency too.
You're modeling it, leading by example.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing you mentioned is, you're doing it back home. Like I feel like sometimes as a Latino, it can get hard when you have your family thinking a whole different way, like old school. I think about like my parents. My parents are older. Like my mom's around 70, so her mindset is like old school, you know. And so it kind of gets hard. But like you said, just leading by example, I think they start catching on. Like, oh, there is a different way of doing things, not just one way.
Yeah. I remember like years ago, I started saying like I love you every time I hung out with like I always did it with my mom, but with the siblings we really didn't do it. And I started saying it, and now we all always say we're saying it like daily on like messages, just like stuff like that.
That's
But
beautiful.
that needs to be normal, you know.
Yes.
So one of the things that you ladies helped me trigger my mind right now was you can impact your environment so much and your energy. So I went through this forum a couple of months ago, and it allowed me, similar to what The Secret is about, it allows you to go through and see where are all your traumas, all these stories that you've been telling yourself in your mind and living in the past for so long.
Yeah.
And you bring the past to your future, so you're never truly present.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted to change that next generation for my son, for myself. I learned a lot of great things from my parents, and there's a lot of things I also want to change. And so it always starts with you.
Yeah.
And as long as you're willing to change, and as long as you're willing to do the work, others are going to take notice, and they're going to be like, dang, how did they do it? If
Yeah.
they can do it, I can do it too.
Or like the way she's doing it, or they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now what I've seen is even in my household and my family, like our whole way of just, I don't even know what's the best word to use, but the way our synergy has changed immensely in just the conversations we have
Yeah.
of saying, I'm sorry, bringing up those uncomfortable conversations and just talking about it, literally talking about it. One of the biggest things is like relationship wise, that's something I want to grow in and want to continue to grow in. Antonio and I have had some really tough conversations we've never had.
Yeah.
And it would have never happened if I didn't create that space also, but that change within myself to allow him to also make that change.
Yeah.
So I think it always starts with us, and it also starts with our words.
Yeah.
Girl, that's powerful, because I think one of the biggest thing too is like wanting to change, you know, like you realizing like, hey, there is maybe something wrong that I'm doing, or I could do something better. And it's like taking that step, because sometimes it's like, no, like at least for my parents, it's like, no, es lo que yo digo o no. And it's like, wait, can you hear me out? Can I explain to you why? Like,
There was
you know,
no hearing out.
no, there wasn't. I think about like when I would ask to go to a party, or like when I was in high school, and it was like, no, you know, you have to go to school, like and I'm like, when I'm getting good grades, like shouldn't that be like, you know,
Can I
something
get a
that's
reward?
yeah, you know. But it was just those little things that get you thinking like, dang, you know, maybe things are just one certain way, and it's like those are the generational curses that you have to break. Like there's so much many other ways that you can learn, you can adapt, you can grow. And I think that's the beauty, like you said, it starts with you and actually wanting to do it.
Right.
Yes. One of the other ways I was going to share how to like stay top of mind, something that the ladies know we do very well, I think, is every day wake up with a mind of gratitude. And so it's literally saying what we're grateful for every single day. After that, ladies, what do we share? Our affirmations.
Affirmations.
Yes, I think that goes a long way, because we can easily wake up with like, you know, shoot, like one of the things for a hot minute, I would be like, oh, my dog keeps waking me up like every hour of the night. I'm not getting any sleep. And I would wake up with such in a bad mood. But as soon as I would get those texts from the ladies that are like, hey, I'm just grateful for the day, grateful to wake up, I'm like, dang, I am grateful that I did wake up. And I am grateful that, you know what, maybe there's something wrong with my dog. That's why he's waking me up all the time. But it's
have a dog.
yeah, grateful I have a dog. Yes. And so it's just those little things that we like no pensamos, and that can go such a long way. And it just starts off in a great, like the best mood.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people, Maria and I used to do it. We kind of have faded out from doing it, but that just saying what we're thankful for, but before bed, like the last thing we say, you know,
I love that.
works too.
I do that in the day, in the beginning of the day, and then right before I go to bed. Similar to Mariana, I like to journal a lot and acknowledge and go back through my day of, all right, what was some wins today? What was something I wish could have gotten better? And then I make sure I put that on my calendar.
Yeah.
And then that's how I've seen like continue to move, make those moves. Those little small details matter.
Yes.
Even as a Heidi.
You take the time to put it in order. One of the things I was gonna say, and I think we all kind of heard this from one of our coaches, was like, you know, you like when you wake up, you gotta fill your own cup. So you gotta be full, and before you can start filling everyone else's cup.
That's huge.
And sometimes, like, I feel like that was a huge eye opening, because I think I wasn't filling my cup up, and I was filling everybody else up, and mine was empty throughout the whole day. And I realized like I wasn't giving the best of me to everyone, because I wasn't really taking the time for me. And that could be something that, you know, all entrepreneurs, all business people can get so caught up in work and like work. And it's like you don't have the time to sit down and actually reset yourself and ground yourself again to keep going. So that has been super huge for me, just being conscious about like, hey, make sure you rest when you need it. Because I would only rest when my body was like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm
done to
sick.
the end.
Yes.
Same. But I think that was a culture that, or maybe a story that we played in our mind that, no, we got to keep going.
Our parents did it.
Right?
You know?
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
I'm so grateful for growing up in an environment where both of my parents were just hard workers. I feel like that's very tough to teach in our younger generation today. I mean, just that grit, right? Like esas ganas to just work on whatever you need to accomplish that day. So I'm grateful for that. You know, my parents just growing up in that environment where it's like trabaja por lo que quieres, you know.
Yes. I always go back to that one time that I told you, I'm like, girl, we're going to have to set a budget. And you were like, She's like, I'm not cutting my budget. If I need to, I'm gonna work harder.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay.
Love that.
That's a mindset.
Yeah. And so she did.
Yes.
No chicken nuggets for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
No
girl.
chicken nuggets for things.
What's another like situation that happened to you that you were like, dang, like you need to take your mindset to a whole nother level? Would you guys say now, even being as business owners and, you know, even starting a new career, what would you guys say that has been?
I think for me, personally, I've always been someone that I have big dreams. I'm a dreamer. I think a lot of you are as well. But I knew I wanted more, and I knew I wasn't able to find it yet. But I knew it was out there. It was planted inside of me for a reason. So I'm like, I know I'm not the only one that thinks like this. And so for me, it was a pivot or that mindset switch of like, no, there has to be another way. I can't be killing myself, working 80, 90 hours a week, not getting any sleep, not seeing my family, and making, decent money. Like I was hitting all these goals that I had set for myself, but I wasn't even happy. And so that's when I realized money ain't it doesn't matter. And it's really the journey of that growth. And so it was that search of finding like-minded individuals that had already done what I wanted to do. And the universe gave it. So it was like, ask and you shall receive. And literally I received. And I received so much more than I could ever imagine. And I feel that's what's led us, the whole team and myself individually, to where I'm at today. And knowing that literally the universe is the limit. Like there is no limit.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, another thing that really I feel like, you know, helped me grow and stuff as well, and just be like, yep, I'm doing it right, you know, whatever I have to support, was probably getting with my wife. Because like literally like who you are with, you know, who your partner is, it makes a big freaking difference.
It makes the journey a lot better.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
We are literally like, I always just tell people and my siblings, I was like, you need to find someone that's going to be a good teammate. You know, I think of like her and I, we were both like mature enough where we like, you know, when we came together, we had lived our lives already, you know, met at we were both, you know, like right there. We brought different things to the table. You know, we had goals, and we've accomplished those goals, and we keep accomplishing like all these new goals together.
That's
and
so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Like even like with, you know, like having my first kid, you know, her third, and she's starting all over again, you know, but I'm like, I'll be at home and I'm like, I cannot imagine like doing this with anybody else.
Aww.
Yeah, just like all
Maria,
that
you're
support.
special.
Yeah, she is special.
Aww.
But just like that, you know, and you want to like feel like it's nice that we both have helped each other grow in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I bring that confidence, you know, like I'm just a super confident person, and she wasn't as much when I met her, you know. So that's what the filling the cup thing, where like mine was filled with confidence and all these other things that maybe hers was lacking. So it's helping her like become. How do I help her become a confident person too, and you know, love herself in all these ways, and like see that for herself. And she's helped me with like my communication, you know, just like different things that we like really balance each other out.
That's
amazing.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's huge. So our partners, I feel like that's a big thing.
Yes, your support
Absolutely.
system.
Can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And the journey's so much fun, much more fun doing it with someone
with
else.
somebody else.
Yes, I agree.
That's beautiful.
Aw.
Y'all need a Maria.
We need.
No,
I
I'm
know.
kidding.
We need to get. Can Maria be on
That is funny.
Oh, jeez.
Man.
I was trying to think back, like for me, the second most life changing for me. It's similar to Rocio's. For me, I also wanted to be surrounded with like many people because I found out that there's not a lot out there. A lot of people have very small thinking or scarcity mindset, whatever you want to call it. And for me, it's funny because my significant other, Caesar, he was like, go out, go with your girlfriends, like do something. I'm like, no, like I've already let that go, you know. Now it's time for me to join a different group of people, right?
Yeah.
With like-minded mindset, yes. People that want more, people that no se, ¿cómo se dice? No se, they don't settle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you watch. I'm going to surround myself with badass women.
We the badass women.
It's us what she's talking about.
I was waiting for y'all to say that.
We get like that.
And he reminded me because it's something that I declared out loud, and
Yes,
I'm
you
like,
did.
I'm gonna find a group of people that I'm always gonna surround myself, and those are gonna be my clique.
Yeah, you be your posse.
Yes,
Yes,
so,
girl.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. I remember when you had talked to me about that.
yes.
And you're like, look at us now.
Oh yeah, and it just keeps growing. I mean, you know, it's just amazing the people that I get to meet, that we get to meet, and that we just share abundance of
Yes, girl.
everything.
And even with like clients too, like people we get to interact with. The ladies know this as well, but I always want to work with someone que quiere, like that's willing to work, put in that
Las
work.
ganas.
Yes, tener esas ganas. And I've met so many people like that here in Des Moines que dicen, I set esta meta, I want to buy a house. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. And then
Yes.
together we're able to help them do that. And it's when we actually get to the closing table and we get to deliver those keys, it's such a beautiful moment
Yeah.
because
is.
we know how hard it wasn't easy, right? The journey was not easy and there were obstacles, but together, nada es imposible. And that's one of the most fulfilling things that I think helps keep going
Oh, yeah.
every single day.
Yeah,
Like
that's
your
a-
closing today.
Girl, yes. My closing today was very special because they had just moved from Cuba. And they literally were here for like 2 months. And so they didn't think that they could buy. And we were able to find something real quick. They got pre-approved. It was ready to go. And I was like, what made this closing very special? And he was just like, I didn't think I could do it,
Yeah.
but I did. And I'm like, yes, you
Awesome.
did. Let's take
Yeah.
a picture.
Or even the ones like you're saying that like it might take them a year to get ready,
Yeah.
you know, but they're the ones that are doing the work. They did it,
Yes.
you
Right.
know, so
Right.
yeah, that's awesome to see that.
As long as they want it, you know, it's possible. I think for me, the biggest thing is like that I've learned and I keep continue to learn is just how you mentioned, like what you focus on expands, like how you want your life to be. You have to be purposeful about how you even talk, like the positive words that you use. And I think that has gotten me to where like I am surrounded by some badass women. I am like blessings after blessings just keep coming, you know, and when things are rough, it's like a constant reminder of like you got to work on something else on you and you got to want it. And it's just learning how to like look for it and ask for the universe or God or, you know, whoever like to give it to you or give you a sign that you're going the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think it feels right like when you're doing something or when you're scared, you're gonna do something, you're scared. Like I feel like that's a good feeling to have because it's like you're making the right decision.
You're growing.
You're growing. You're pushing yourself. You're having these breakthroughs. So
Any last advice for our listeners?
I would just say is your words are so powerful. If you say you can't, you're right, you can't. But if you say you can, you're right also, and you can.
Yeah.
For me is always keep in mind that change only happens when you're uncomfortable. So if you're comfortable, then does that really change?
Geez, for me, it's like look at who's on your boat. And what I mean by that is like who's are the people that are you're surrounded with, and are they helping you keep your boat afloat or are they sinking you? So if they're sinking you, maybe it's time to reanalyze that and make sure you got the right people on your boat to keep going.
Yes, I agree with all of you.
What y'all said. Get yourself a Maria. That's your
Get yourself a Maria.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Yes, keep it positive.
This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates and central Iowa companies.